Greetings, YouTube. Today's article comes from The Big Blue. It's actually contemporary to this month, and it deals with the fact that American life expectancies are dropping. It's hard to deny that something truly dire has ensnared a large chunk of the country. A country as big, complicated, and diverse as the United States, that something is actually a great many things. But I would argue it can be broadly summed up by one idea, what I call the one bad break test. In societies that function well, there are various safety nets in place to prevent a bad break from leading to a tailspin for particularly vulnerable victims. Compared to many other rich nations, the U.S. is not such a society. All too often, when vulnerable Americans encounter a bad break, there's nothing underneath them to stop their slide. Instead, devastation follows, sometimes in the form of bankruptcy and addiction and death. Now, people all the time, particularly of the conservative variety, tell me that the United States is the greatest nation on earth. I'm intrigued by their metrics because if you look at the real world life that Americans experience, we're not the greatest nation on earth. We've never been the greatest nation on earth. If you look at the people that our nation has exploited and exterminated to get where we are, we're morally bankrupt. If you look at the people that we are exploiting now and oppressing now, today in 2016, we're morally bankrupt. And if you look at the way that we expend our wealth, the wealth that you and I, the 99, generate, we're morally bankrupt. We have no safety net in America. And the one bad break isn't a euphemism. That's all it takes. If you're living on the edge, all it takes is a single thing to go wrong. Now, if you were born into privilege and you've had a life where there was ample resources and people depend on, and you never had to worry about housing or food or your vehicle functioning to keep your job, or you never had to worry about health insurance or getting the proper kind of an education because you lived in the right area as far as education was concerned, then America is a pretty nice place to live. But if you're anybody else, the majority of people, it isn't such a great place to live. And if a single thing goes wrong in your life, everything can be lost. Because in America, we're supposed to grab ourselves by our bootstraps and pull ourselves up, which is stupid. You know, private charity will take care of all those problems, except they don't. We have the wealth to make sure that no one in America is ever homeless or hungry without education or health care. We have the resources. But we as a society have chosen to give those resources to the 1% and above. We have chosen to embrace capitalism. And remember, capitalism is based on three important factors: the exploitation of people and resources without concern for either of them, the concentration of capital, which we have, and poverty. Because poverty is the stick that drives the exploitation. Poverty is the stick that uses to keep people working and grinding away their lives as their bodies and their souls are slowly crushed. And you may be saying, oh, that's very hyperbolic. You know something? Fuck that, it isn't. I've been in manufacturing for 33 years. I have watched what happens around me to the people I work with in many different areas. And it slowly crushes them. I've seen the toll of doing that kind of work on myself and my coworkers. When you leave work every day in pain, every day in pain, when you can't do the things you want to do because you hurt, and all it takes is one bad break and you could lose everything.
because we don't have a safety net here. Because we would rather give our resources, our wealth, to the 1% and above than make sure that it's used to take care of everyone. So yes, that makes me a socialist. It also makes me smart.